Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I am 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐕𝐄𝐑𝐒𝐓𝐈𝐎𝐍, and this is the Crypto and Cognac podcast show, as always powered by our friends at 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐕𝐄𝐑𝐒𝐓𝐈𝐎𝐍. And this evening, as always, I will be having some cognac. I'm having some Martell VSOP Blue Swift. Yeah, that's what we're going to do this evening. What's up, my Crypto Caribbean people, my Crypto and Cognac people? How are you doing this evening? I am 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐕𝐄𝐑𝐒𝐓𝐈𝐎𝐍. Welcome to the podcast. And how am I feeling? As Chris Brown would say in his latest song, sensational. What's up? I'm feeling better this week. And I'm very excited to jump into today's topic. But before we get into that, I want you guys to do me a favor, like this particular episode. Go back to the previous episodes, like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Send it to your friends, tell a friend to tell a friend, because this is crypto and this is the Caribbean. Two things that the YouTube algorithm does not prioritize. So for us to get the word out, I need you guys to do your part. I'm not asking you all for no damn money. Just tell a friend to tell a friend, right? And as always, nothing that I share with you here should be misconstrued as being financial advice. This is all about the ICE rule. It's all about information, conversation, education. You share some, I share some, and we learn a little bit and we can move forward and be a little bit smarter than, at 6:59 p.m. tonight, or whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. Today, based on some recent activities, based on some recent revelations, I have decided to talk today about market manipulation in the crypto space, right? Recently, during the course of the FTX trial, or the trial of some of the former FTX and Alameda leadership, specifically Miss Caroline Ellison, she was quoted as saying that Sam encouraged her to suppress the price of BTC, the price of Bitcoin. And then after that, we saw recently where some news came out, someone working an intern, they say, at Cointelegraph, used their Twitter account to send out some news that the SEC had approved the first Bitcoin spot ETF. This shot the price of Bitcoin through the roof because everybody was excited, only to find out it was a bold-headed lie, right? For those following the Jada Pinkett Smith saga, you'll understand what that means. A bald-headed lie. Anyway, prices came crazy down. Tons of longs and shorts were liquidated as a result of that, something like $100 and something million. And this has been something that has always been kind of bubbling in the background, something that we always knew took place, but I never really spoke about it here on the podcast. So I decided, you know what? Maybe now is the time. Maybe now is the time for us to talk about this whole crypto market manipulation thing. And before I jump into it, I just want to shout out my boy Steven, always holding me down. Keisha, love of my life. Them's my people, right? Let me take a sip. But before we jump in and start attacking crypto, because you're not you all, but people in general love to attack crypto. I wanted to talk a little bit about market manipulation in general, because the fact of the matter is that all capital markets suffer from some level of manipulation, right? So whether we're talking about the diamond market, everybody, well, maybe not everybody, but for those who know, the diamond market has been manipulated since the early 1900s by the Bear Corporation. They artificially manage the supply and demand for diamonds, which is a commodity that really has no practical value. Like outside of buying jewelry and stuff like that, somebody tell me, diamonds have any practical value? Anyway, so diamonds and their supply are manipulated. Oil and gas, the oil and gas market, we all know that OPEC, who is a collaboration of the top producers of oil and gas in the world, they determine, they artificially manage the demand and supply by recommending production targets to their members, and even outside of OPEC, as recently as 2002, the CFTC sued, won, and filed claims against a trading firm called Glencore, and they had to pay $1.1 billion because it was found that traders within their company had been manipulating the price of oil and gas futures since 2008. So between 2008 and 2017, they had been manipulating the fuel oil benchmark price. As a result of that, they were charged and they were forced to pay $1.1 billion to the CFTC in terms of fines, right? And then we could talk about the numerous scandals across the stock market. We could talk about Enron. We could talk about Volkswagen manipulating their emission results on these diesel vehicles. We could talk about the LIBOR scandal, where several major banks were implicated for manipulating the London interbank offered rate, which is the LIBOR rate or the benchmark interest rate. We could talk about the flash crash of 2010. We could talk about Bear Stearns' collapse. We could talk about Bernie Madoff and his Ponzi scheme. And we could talk about, most recently, the GameStop short squeeze, which was started by some hedge funds deciding that they were going to enter significant short positions on GameStop, and then retail market participants realizing it, using the power of social media, galvanizing a team of retail participants around each other, and deciding they were going to go after those hedge funds, and started a major short squeeze that ultimately resulted in who was it, boy? One of the hedge funds that was shut down. Melvin Capital, they had to pack up. I think there is a movie out about the whole incident, or is going to be out shortly. Which, I mean, it looks pretty good from the trailer. I'm hoping to check it out. Hope you guys check it out as well. There've been so many movies made about market manipulation in the stock market. So before we jump into crypto and start accusing crypto and acting like crypto is the worst thing that ever happened, like they do with everything else, from, like I said, market manipulation all the way to money laundering, though 0.00 something percent of all money laundering is probably done in crypto, and most of it is done in cash, real estate, wealth, luxury items, art, all these things are used to launder money. But everybody like to act like, you know what, money laundering only was established in 2009 at the founding of Bitcoin. I know, I guess it is what it is. Haters gonna hate. But what I wanted to get into is, first I wanted to touch on the different types of capital market manipulation. So from price manipulation, information-based manipulation, which is like news and stuff like that, pump and dump schemes, spoofing and layering, and differences between that, and then insider trading, which is one that, you know, we are oftentimes most familiar with. So price manipulation involves artificially inflating and deflating the price of a security or asset to benefit from these price changes. So basically, traders would execute large trades to create the illusion of high demand and then sell aggressively to induce panic selling. So pump, dump, basic price manipulation, right? In terms of information based, you know, we know about the connections that a lot of these banks, a lot of these hedge funds, all of these financial institutions have with the mass media, because most of them spend their advertising dollars there. So basically putting out or spreading misleading information about a security to influence the price. Right now, we are hearing news in the market about XRP and the SEC mutually deciding to terminate the case. That has already impacted the price of XRP. I mean, recently, after what happened with the whole spot ETF thing, the SEC say, listen, unless we post it, it's not true. So I will wait to see the SEC post something on X, formerly known as Twitter, before I start celebrating. But we've already seen the market rush. So with social media particularly, that information-based manipulation has been, you know, skyrocketing, whether it's positive news manipulation or information manipulation, or is negative. So whether it's to encourage FOMO or is to encourage FUD, social media has become a big part of, you know, that whole process, right? So pump and dump schemes, you know, classic form of market manipulation where the manipulators artificially inflate the price of a security, that is pump it up, and then sell their holdings to dump for substantial profits, right? That's something that we have seen a lot of in the crypto market across the general token market, and especially in the NFT market. We're going to talk a little bit more about that and the numbers, because a company by the name of Solidus Labs, they recently did investigation around insider trading, pump and dumps in the crypto space. So we're going to touch a little bit more on that later on. Spoofing and layering. Again, spoofing and layering involves deceptive trading strategies aimed at creating false impressions of market supply and demand. So traders place fake orders to influence the market and then cancel them before executing, which is a little different than the pump and dumps. And for the from insider trading, so pump and dumps, they would actually execute the trades, cause people to FOMO in, and then sell. Spoofing or layering is where they put in orders, fake orders, to give people the impression that they're going to be executing on these orders, and then before the orders can be executed, they terminate them when people have already FOMO'd in. In terms of layering is traders stacking orders at various price levels to create the illusion of a high trading activity. So you might put something at $10, $20, $25, $30 to give the impression that there's a lot of demand at different price points. Again, with the expectation of manipulating and misleading the market about the supply and demand for any particular security, commodity, as the case may be, whether that be in the traditional markets or in the crypto market. Insider trading, of course, easy to tell. Insider trading involves, trading securities based on non-public information. So in the crypto space, how that might look is somebody having insight as to whether or not a coin or token is going to be listed on a major centralized exchange, whether they're going to be announcing any major partnerships, that kind of stuff. Right? Just check out the chat. Stevie going hard. Yeah, I mean, money laundering shell companies. We know the run of the mill. We know exactly what they be doing, Stevie. But they always like to act like crypto invented all these things. Now, because the crypto market is a very, very nascent, very new industry, we find that a lot of these things are even more active in this space, because some of the strategies that may have been put in place to kind of prevent those things from running amok in more mature markets are currently not in place in the crypto market. And that's why me personally, I am not one of those people who is, completely against regulations for the crypto market. I think it has to be done in a educated way, in a way that does not compromise innovation, in a way that fosters innovation, in a way that obviously protects investors, but in a way that protects people who are interested in building in this space on a whole. So yeah, I mean, we see pump and dump schemes here. We see insider trading here. We see, like I said before, coordinated social media campaigns, especially using influencers in the space to carry that message, using influencers at large, whether it be social media influencers like Kim Kardashian, who's been sued for being part of one of those campaigns, or people who are well known in the investment space like Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful. But yeah, social media and all the different campaigns have become a major part of, or a major tool for the manipulation of the crypto market. So whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Reddit, I mean, they are a significant source of FOMO for most retail investors. I mean, the fear of missing out is real, and these campaigns cause people to lose their mind, jump in, and oftentimes it does not work out the best for them. One that we see very, very prominent in the crypto space that is not necessarily as predominant in other spaces is wash trading. So like I said, Solidus Labs, they had a report that basically liquidity providers in the crypto space since 2021, I think, have wash traded over $2 billion worth of tokens, right? As well as in the NFT market, it's kind of estimated that of the $30 billion of NFTs cumulative trading volume, 44% of it is based on wash trading. So we're talking about almost 50%, almost half of all NFT trading is allegedly wash trading. And basically wash trading is where artificial trading volumes are created by trading assets back and forth with oneself. So how that would look is, for example, I have an NFT, I try to create demand for it, I might have 3, 4, maybe 5 wallets that are bidding on this particular asset. I might buy it from myself with one wallet, and then in a few weeks buy it back from that person, or buy it from that person from that other wallet with another wallet. And because all these transactions are on chain, to the uninitiated onlooker, it looks like there's quite a bit of demand for this particular asset, because it's being sold multiple times, each time the price is going up. And then somebody who, like I said, is none the wiser, buys it finally from one of my 5 wallets, and now they believe they have an NFT that is worth 10, 15, 20, maybe $100,000. But really, there isn't a true source of demand for that particular NFT. And now that person may be left holding the bag, as we say, right? Spoofing, yes. Layering, yes. Still very much a part of the crypto space. Price suppression, we talked about Caroline Ellison claiming that back in 2022, SBF allegedly asked her to suppress the price of Bitcoin at $20,000. And this was, just before they basically went insolvent. I don't know why he would have been doing that. I don't know what would have been the value to him doing so, but usually those tactics of suppressing crypto price are done by spreading, FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt, basically trying to coordinate large sell-offs. We all have heard the stories of the traditional financial space using the media, using FUD to drive prices down so that they could continue to accumulate Bitcoin at lower prices, because ultimately, or obviously, Bitcoin is one of the few asset classes that was really available to retail before it was even available to institutional investors, or what they like to call not sophisticated. The word is just slipping me right now. Institutional. Anyway, what they like to call professional investors. The word is just slipping me right now. I'm having a brain fart. But yeah, so we have all seen how, FUD, even like right now, it feels like the price of Bitcoin might be artificially being suppressed, because we've had some pretty positive news over the last few months. Yes, we've had some challenging news as well, but usually you would see significant price movement based on those types of news. But I mean, something is holding us back. Maybe it's just the fact that we're in a bear market. Maybe next year, in the throes of a bull market, that same news will move the market significantly. I don't know. Exchanges. For a very long time, we have heard rumblings about exchanges, centralized exchanges, manipulating the price of tokens, whether it be Bitcoin, Ethereum, alts, whether it be mid cap or small cap alts, being manipulated using their order books and manipulating their order books and their trading data to either prop up a token or suppress the price of a token. It's a little harder to figure those things out, just because we don't have access to all the information as with centralized companies, in terms of seeing whether or not the order books are actually representative of real transactions taking place. And then obviously we have hacks, security breaches. These while they're not like traditional manipulation, I would say that whenever there is a security compromise on a token, it does help to influence people's perception. So even by targeting a particular token or targeting a particular project as a hacker, I would say that that is a form of market manipulation, because we all know what is going to happen um, to that particular token, right? And again, the Solidus Labs report, which they published in June of this year, so not too long ago, also shows that 56% of tokens listed since 2021 show evidence of insider trading. And why I kind of link that back to the comment about hackers is that when we talk insider trading, we also have to think about who are those actors, who are the people on the inside. And a lot of times the developers and the project team are part of the problem, or part of the compromise is based on having the project team or project devs having nefarious intent, setting up backdoors, so that is kind of two-pronged as it relates to the hacker side, as it relates to the insider trading side, right? In terms of other actors that impact the market manipulation side, we all know whales. Whales have large caches of tokens, whether it be Bitcoin, whether it be Ethereum, whether it be Solana, whether it be any token, Algorand. And because of their large holdings of any particular token, they have the ability to manipulate the price of those tokens, either by selling it in heaps, withholding, trading of their stash at any point in time to create an artificially suppressed supply. So we know whales be jumping around the market doing their thing in terms of market manipulation. Crypto exchanges we talked about, market makers. Market makers are basically entities that facilitate liquidity, right? Liquidity. And by constantly quoting buy and sell prices, unscrupulous market makers can manipulate the price. You know what I mean? Like, and we saw, based on the Solidus Labs report, that over 2 billion in value has been wash traded by these liquidity providers, right? Then we have pump and dump groups. We have, entire Telegram groups, WhatsApp groups, Discord groups, that Reddit groups, who their entire function is to choose a coin, either because they like it, they see it's an easy picking, or sometimes they even hired by the project team to start a buying frenzy, pump that token up as retail, and as other participants outside of the group start getting in, start buying, the participants of the group start selling into profit, right? So there are entire groups who are taking advantage of, like I said, the nascency of the space. Again, we are still very much in I don't want to say wild, wild west, but I guess there is some law, but you can still end up shut down in the middle of the streets in this early crypto space. Then again, influential social media figures, crypto figures. I mean, we have a lot of crypto influencers. And I know when I got into this space very early on, I was very much focused on small cap altcoins, because they had this significant movement. I wasn't playing with a lot of money. So that was a big area for me. I was listening to one particular influencer. I don't want to call his name because it's not like he was doing anything wrong. That was just his focus But a lot of what I would buy would be based on, his daily discussions. You know what I mean? Like once he met, people were literally like watching his feed live, and any token that was mentioned positively, you saw an immediate spike in the price. And he had to do disclaimers like, he doesn't hold any of this token or whatever, or he might have been gifted some of this token from a particular project. But it just shows the power of social media influencers, especially in this crypto space. We have bots. I mean, bots play a big part in market manipulation, especially when a token goes live, especially when a token is listed on a new centralized exchange. You see the price spike because there's a bot war. All these bots pre-programmed trying to buy it up as early as possible, driving the price up, and then the bots selling, taking profits against the general retail market. Excuse. So I mean that is obviously concerning. And then we have the regular retail investor, the guy down the road who just trying to do his best to learn about this space, participate in this space. And we have seen a lot of we have seen a lot of how to say it we have a lot of examples of market manipulation um, throughout the history of this space. We've seen it with projects and project founders, whether it be Terra Luna, whether it be FTX, Bitfinex, and Tether back in 2017, Mt. Gox back in 2014, Centra Tech ICO in 2017. They were ultimately, I think they were sued by the SEC. I don't know. I think the founder was arrested. I don't know if he, what happened with the case. But yeah, there was a trading incident with Binance in 2018. IOTA's coordinated attack back in 2019. Crypto exchange collapsed in 2016. Quadriga CX in 2019. I mean, plus token. We have seen a lot of examples of manipulation, and those are just some of the bigger ones. We've seen, a lot of rug pulls in the NFT space, project founders just dipping with funds and obviously impacting whatever ecosystem they're on, because ultimately that puts a negative light on the entire space, that blockchain specifically, the security protocols associated with it. So what is in place to protect people in general, investors in general, from market manipulation? I guess this is why we see in the US the Security and Exchange Commission, the CFTC, all these guys fighting to figure out, who is going to be responsible for managing the crypto space. So, and how would they do that? I mean, obviously, these regulatory bodies have their market surveillance systems. They want the current or even new anti-fraud regulations to be implemented that would cover the crypto and blockchain space as well. They want banks and other financial institutions that have to operate with crypto projects to establish transparency requirements. So AML, KYC, information. Obviously, they want insider trading regulations. They want to set up money market manipulation prohibitions, obviously whistleblower programs. I think that's what what's her name, Caroline, is part of right now. I think she was probably contacted and she will probably get some time off her jail time for spilling the beans on Sam and whoever else was involved at FTX and Alameda. So whistleblowers, everybody getting their 6ix9ine on. Speaking of Mr. 6ix9ine, he's another one who scammed people using his NFT project. And then obviously we've seen with everything that has been happening around the regulatory environment in the space all year, that it's not just something that is happening in the US. Obviously they have international cooperation. We see the IMF getting involved and kind of sharing the US's perspective on regulatory frameworks for the industry across the world. We're seeing a lot of these countries, choosing to follow in the footsteps of the US or Europe with in terms of their regulatory framework. So obviously international cooperation. Of course, we're talking about enforcement, we're talking about penalties, we're talking about jail time. All these things are things that are put in place to help reduce the chances of market manipulation in this space. And what else? I mean, and obviously we have a role to play in terms of helping with reducing market manipulation, just through education, through awareness, through bringing information, through teaching people how to protect themselves, teaching people what to look out for. One of the interesting things that I found in reading the Solidus in terms of reading their report is that their report focused heavily on the DeFi space and pointed to the fact that a lot of the manipulation, a lot of the insider trading specifically took place in the decentralized exchanges, which initially I thought was very interesting because why would you do it there given that people can see all the transactions? It's not like a centralized exchange that you can't really see all the transactions on the inside. But then I thought, in terms of if you're going to be using insider trading to buy up a particular token and run up the price before a major listing, it wouldn't be really listed on a SEX yet, on a centralized exchange yet. So obviously, in those cases, the only avenue for trading those tokens would be on a decentralized exchange. And so ultimately, we see that is where a lot of this insider trading was traced back to. And I think what they use is they have a few different protocols out there that you could use, you could subscribe to in terms of helping you to see whether or not a project is legit, whether a project has a lot of insider trading. And how they basically do that is track transactions between wallets. If there are significant transactions between specific wallets that are either owned by the team or specific wallets moving or managing a lot of the traffic on a particular token. One such is one called Bubble Map. Honestly, I don't know if it's still in operation. I know last year I used them and it was quite good because they give you a very visual look at the level of interactions between wallets. And they did it for NFTs as well as regular tokens. So different protocols like that, See, boy, I think we gotta take my jacket off after the actual winter next year. I think after March, into May, we could start taking off our jacket as we start anticipating the Bitcoin halving. And as I mentioned that, I guess, technically the Bitcoin halving event is a form of market manipulation because there's a certain belief around the halving, especially around the understanding of the halving's reduction in supply. But then again, it's not really market manipulation because it's open to everybody. Everybody knows what to expect from the halving activity, so we know that come maybe May next year, the rewards for mining a block going to move from 6.25 to 3.125. So we're going to see that change in the supply. Once the demand remains constant, we're going to see that impact the prices. But all that said, I hope I gave you guys a bunch to think about, give you maybe a clearer understanding of how market manipulation in this space actually is demonstrated, how it's actually implemented, some of the things to look out for when maybe approaching a project in terms of checking up. And that is why it's so important to, do your research on the team, do your research on where the token is listed, stay so close to the project in terms of their social media, so that you could be early as it relates to announcements and that kind of thing. But as always, it's just to be aware and be wary, always be learning, always be willing to do your own research, not just taking people's word for it, whether it's an influencer, whether it's myself, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member. It's so important to do your own research. It's so important to not invest more than you could afford to lose. It's so important to do the heavy lifting, because easy money is no such thing, right? But as always, as I say every week, and as I've been saying since the very beginning of my journey, well, maybe not the very beginning, but very, very early into it, adoption is inevitable, Steven. Yeah, hold hard, take profits. Steven, are we holding hard and taking profits? Right? But yeah, not financial advice from myself or Steven. But guys, adoption is inevitable. It's a pleasure being with you guys as always. Remember, like, share, tell a friend to tell a friend, subscribe if you haven't yet. And I'm gonna see you guys next week for more crypto news, more cognac to drink. Be blessed, be safe out there. The world is a crazy place. Illuminati, OUT, outside, and we're not going in. Bless.